Welcome to a new episode of the DJwivesLV Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on the podcast platform of your choice. Don't miss any updates. Follow DJwivesLV on Instagram. And now, coming at you from Las Vegas, let's begin.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the DJwivesLV Podcast. I'm Bev.
And I'm Tanya. And today's episode, we have the lovely Miss
Joy.
Welcome, Miss Joy, or Joy. Well, we want to make sure we have a great time during this interview, and we do want to get it started. So let's be casual and tell us a little bit about who is Joy.
Well, I identify as a second-generation Lao American. My parents came here during the Vietnam War to be free from, all the bad things that were going on during the Vietnam War. Laos was bombed. About like 80% of our country was really just great just to be here and to be the first one to be born in America. I knew that I wanted to be able to live a life that felt really fulfilling and just like rich in my spirit.
Absolutely.
So DJing has been part of like my healing journey and just like my form of self-expression.
Nice.
And I feel really grateful to be able to have so much support here in Vegas.
And when did you start in Vegas? Like, moved here? How long ago? Or how long ago did you move? Like, have you been here for many years? Was it just, how does that transition? Like, and then where your love of music started? Like, were you inspired by like maybe just what you didn't see in your country and you wanted, since you said it was your healing, was it something that just stemmed off of that and just kind of accelerated to what you really wanted to do?
Yeah, well, I fell in love with music and dance when I was, I want to say like 12 years old.
Nice.
I remember my sister, she's 2 years older, and my mom said, if your sister goes out with her friends, she has to take this little one.
Wouldn't
You guys
agree?
relate?
I think we all have that.
Yeah, so I was at these parties, these more like teenage parties.
Yes.
And of course I wasn't into boys, so I was always like in front of the DJ just being like, oh, what are they doing?
Curious.
What are they playing? Just watching people dance and just being like, wow, this is really cool. Like people aren't really talking, they're just like vibing to the music, and I was just like picking up on that energy. So it wasn't until I was, I want to say like 14, 15, I went to my first party. I took my sister's ID.
Really good. Oh, Joy, look at her.
And so yeah, I went to a rave at 18 and over.
Nice.
And I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like, there's so much more aesthetics to, like, fashion and dancing and just, like, self-expression. And I use music and dancing as a healing modality, like being Lao American and being taught a certain way to be very presentable, or like a lady can't do that, you can't do it, you can't wear this, you can't say this. My mom's super traditional. And she was a school teacher in her country. And so just knowing that I come from a group of people that have very old-fashioned ways of thinking, like they basically grew up in the jungle.
Oh, wow.
And then here I am in America,
Exactly.
So melting the two together into a full-blown career came to be when I turned 19. I was dancing on, in this really awesome space, and I was like, I want to do this. I want to make people feel really happy and just free-flowing, and not really just care about anything other than just being like present.
Yes.
And
Was that
so
here in Vegas?
That was in North Carolina.
Oh,
North
wow.
Carolina.
Yeah, I know. Like,
Wow.
if you get
We're
me in
not
the South,
in North Carolina.
my Southern twang comes out. So
cute.
Or don't get me around
Yeah.
Southerners, because they'll be like, y'all, what y'all
I like
saying?
it.
That's cute.
So yeah,
North
so when I turned 19, I was like, I want to be a DJ. And after my parents sold our house in North Carolina, we moved to Washington State, where my grandma, my uncle, my aunties, they all lived. And from there, I was like, okay, when I turn 21, I want to be a professional DJ. And just doing my research in Seattle, it was very artistic place. And I felt like everyone was a DJ, either a DJ, a musician, an artist, which is really great to be around. But I wanted to start in a more sophisticated environment. I was doing my research, and Vegas seemed like a good fit. My siblings, they went to UNLV out here, and so in 2001, I moved here, freshly 21, 22, not knowing a thing in the world.
Really?
Just being like, here I am.
Was it just you by yourself?
I drove down here with 2 crates of vinyl records, and back then I was just a breakbeat and drum and bass DJ.
Nice.
Not knowing, well, I knew that there are certain artists out here that were like really heavily into breaks, like the Crystal Method, and like influence from the West Coast, like Simply Jeff and stuff. And those are artists that I really love. And so when I moved out here, my parents were like, well, since all of our kids are down here, why don't we just follow them? So they've been here ever since.
So you led the path.
Yeah.
So being that they're so traditional, how they were open to allow you to just bring yourself out to Las Vegas, pursue or intend a career?
Oh, no.
That's what I'm saying. Like, oh, wow, that was tough. Like, even just to say, I'm packing my bags, parents, if you understand or not, just you'll know. And, you know, obviously you're very passionate and you feel the energy.
Yeah.
Were they aware that's what you were moving for?
They knew. I'm pretty open with them. My mom's like my best friend, so I tell her everything. You know, of course, they wanted me to pursue higher education. And I did that when I turned 18, when I was like, okay, if I'm still going out to parties, doing the same thing, you know, maybe I should go see what school is all about. And I just wasn't really impressed with what was being offered. My teachers, I had some great relationships with certain teachers, but it didn't really get me to the point of like working with music and people right away. You know, I didn't want to go through math and English and social. So I was like, why?
Like, this is not, no, there's no lyrics to this. There's no, like, you know, flow into this.
Not knocking higher education
absolutely.
at all, but I felt like it didn't fit where my heart was wanting to go.
Nice. So what would you say is your stamp of like music? What do you like to play? Like, where was it where just like, this is, I know you do have a mix out that, you know, I've heard that you've put it out there, which is great, but what is your style like of music?
Thank you for asking that. I feel like it's such a melting pot of everything, and the reason why is because after you do this type of service, you know, I call it like I want to serve in this capacity of serving music,
right?
That you tend to just want to make people happy. I get like endorphins when I see people smile, you know, enjoy themselves, tap
you
their
really
fingers.
get into it. I love your like outfits, obviously right now if people would see it on this audio, but like you really get into your theme. Like I just saw you with some wings that are like not like my husband could not bust out wings like that. Like
sure.
So you know, it's fitting for a woman that does it so well, but like you represent and you theme out to the event that you're in, and you engage. Like, so it's really nice to see that side, because I think it's awesome. Like, it's it gives a good energy to the audience as well. You know,
it's fun, and I like to be playful. So.
Yeah, I do like that. And you started. What was your first gig out here in Las Vegas?
Wow. I want to first give a shout out to my mentors at the time who really helped put me up. DJ Hollywood, David Christian, they put me up at the Rain nightclub. My first gig.
I remember that club. Yeah.
I played for an hour and a half, and I played my breaks records. Like, really fun.
Yeah, right. You're like you're like all your records in the vinyl at that time.
It was very nostalgic, and I remember my hands were like shaking. And I was like holding my breath, like. And my friend was like, Miss Joy.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Why are you bothering me right now?
You're like, I'm in my zone, please.
Yeah, leave me alone. It's like a full crowd, right? And he's like, smile.
Oh.
I'm like, okay.
You know what? That's a good point. My husband always has that. It has a lot to do with it. You don't realize, because you're trying to prepare mentally and obviously be about it.
Yeah.
But it's the little facial expressions or your persona that has a lot to do with how the energy can flow to whoever perceives you, like, especially your DJing and everybody, guess what? They're looking at you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a good mental
Yeah.
state to remember.
You
Always
ladies
smile.
have great smiles. Like
I try. You know what? Thanks to braces, obviously, maybe.
Well, yeah, I have RBF, so it's a struggle. I feel you on that one.
Too. My side profile is not the best. That's why I always like to make sure I'm looking at the front. But it's aside of that, like I want to mention, like you also what is Dash Radio? I know you also put a lot of music out, not just on the venues in Las Vegas and all these. You know, you've been playing at Tao. You've been playing at you do usually first Fridays in downtown, but you
That's fun.
also have like your extended like music that travels through Dash Radio audio. Obviously, everybody loves some channeling to some good music. Does Dash Radio has any influence of that? And like, because you seem to be working with a lot of DJs in the community and your style of DJing and stuff. So mention that, like, and if where people can find that app.
Yes. So our curator, Jesus, the DJ, who is out of Texas in Dallas, he wanted to have a more Vegas house sound since their station is mostly top 40 hip hop, and then they have a little bit of country on there too.
Really? Country?
So when they do the mix shows,
Nice.
they wanted to have certain female, DJs, but I was a person that was able to be put on, and I put my other friends on,
Nice.
some other girls on to the station as well, so that they can just have like more of a Vegas sound, even though the station is on the internet.
Yes.
Dash Radio Fusion is where you can find us.
Yes, it's nice. And as a female, I mean, I love to see you guys like embrace the same genre with like the music as well with the colleagues of males and females now together. It's been difficult for some way back in the days, but what has been your take on it? What have for yourself to say, wow, like we've stood out a lot. And,
Sure.
One of our good friends, Jenna Palmer, and all of our other friends, girlfriends, but that's why I met you through. So what has that been as a female DJ and in all these, obviously, industry places that you've been at that might not been not accepting or it's been just challenging? Like, how do you overcome that, or how have you overcome, like, just putting still your ground and saying, I'm here about the music. Doesn't matter how I look or who I am. And I'm still, I'm able to still transcend, like, awesome music through any venue that I play, regardless of being a female or a male, So how has that take on your...
It's a really good question. I get asked that quite a bit.
Yes.
And I love being asked that from a female. Usually men ask me that, and I feel like the answer can go any which way, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as far as for my own personal perception of it, that if I feel like I'm walking into a space and I know who I am as a professional DJ, then I don't have to worry about the extra things that may come along with how a female DJ could potentially be presented. One being maybe like glorified as like some sort of sex object or something,
Right.
But I think it's how you carry yourself too.
Yes.
And how you brand yourself is really important as well. And I started to notice and understand branding a little bit more in the mid 2000s when I started to DJ full time, and I noticed that my image was being put up as like someone like beautiful and sexy, and I was just kind of like, okay, like, is it because I'm a girl? Like, what's going on? But after I started learning more with my management team how to step outside of those lines of just being beautiful and talented, we started working on being presentable on a corporate level. And I have a website that is Corporate DJ Pro that really focuses on just me being like this feminine energy, but not selling sex.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
it's easy for me to say like, oh, okay, I'm looking at this photograph. Like, are they selling music or are they selling something else? I don't know what's going on.
Right.
And to each is their own.
Absolutely.
But I feel that part of my experience has been muted more because of how I walk into a space and how I command to be treated.
Exactly.
And my professional representation allows me to be in that space too.
That's great.
Has there ever been a time where you've had a bad experience or been mistreated?
Yeah, well, being mistreated is kind of like it could be anywhere, like from someone cutting you off on the freeway to like, being in your professional environment. I would say that a lot of people may not take me seriously because of the way I look. And they may be like, oh, look at this girl, like she's all in pink, and, she looks just like a flower,
Right.
Do you pick
whatever.
up on that sign from how they look at you, or is it something they've said?
It's when they watch me play and they're like,
Right.
their facial expression changes, and then my musicality
Yes.
and the skill level of mixing and
You're
transitioning
like,
and
she
stuff
knows
like
her
that.
shit.
And you feel like the
You know.
respect is shown
Yeah.
after you've
Yeah,
shown
it's
over?
then it becomes a sport,
Yes.
between two people, whether if it's male or female. Like we're just talking about, like, this is a sport, right? Like we're competing with each other,
Exactly.
whether it's for the same job or attention or whatever it may be. I'm competing with myself when I show up into a space, and
Exactly.
I want to know that I'm doing good for myself.
Exactly. Are you dating? I'm going to go into dating, like, especially now that if you're, like, I'm thinking if somebody were to date somebody that is a DJ and then you naturally are around just that type of environment, it's hard to not to say you won't meet somebody in the music industry but have you ever met somebody that you date and you're like, man, like, I'm probably more badass than this guy. I was like, how do you allow a relationship to even evolve if you're already feeling like, would you?
Sure.
I mean, it seems like you're the type to be like, you know what? Let me help you, honey. Let me tell you what I learned a little bit off of here and my music and what can probably different than.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard, I would say, if you were to date somebody in the industry and is a DJ. And what do you think of that? Like, or where do you put yourself in that aspect of like dating, or if you are, or if you're with somebody right now? So,
Okay. Oh, we're getting personal.
yeah, we're getting personal. Joy is too lovely not to be dating or be with somebody. So tell us, Joy.
Well, I'd like to just put it out there that I don't like to date within my scene or community because I feel like it's really unprofessional. Working at a lot of different venues and being the center of attention only because the music that's being played throughout the whole club is like the music that I'm playing,
Right.
It's nothing more than that, it's like I'm the focal point. And if people are hitting on me because, we're in a workspace, it's just too much. I work at a lot of venues. So it's I'm like, let me just
It's like
not,
conflict of interest. Please,
yeah,
let's
let me
go
just not
there.
date,
Have
but
you ever been tempted, though?
Definitely.
Okay, I think so. I think, hey, naturally.
For sure,
I mean, your presence has a lot, and I think you attract a lot. Gentlemen.
Thank you. I want to be respectful of the space and just meditate on like having people be my brothers and sisters.
Yes.
It's really hard though sometimes when people take your niceness as something different,
Right.
or I can talk about my own faults, feeling lonely,
Right,
and
yeah.
knowing that you are giving so much of your energy in one night. And then you go home and you're just like,
Yeah. from the highs to the lights.
like
to
I'm gonna take a melatonin. Good night.
You're like, yeah, this is all me, just me and me and myself.
Yeah.
But based on your schedule, it seems like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Yeah, you go night, and then you're back at it.
Exactly.
You know,
That's
the
what I'm saying.
next
It's
day.
hard not to say that you're not gonna fall into wanting to date somebody naturally because it's just the space like you mentioned that you're in. So it's like you want to have a companion. Not saying like I'm gonna marry this guy I see off but their music obviously inspires. Like it inspires some of us. Like so you get kind of like giddy and then you start feeling like that connection. But you decide to break that. Like I'm not gonna allow that to be somebody that I'd want just because of this. Do you not trust that type of, like, we're married to, obviously, DJ husbands, but everybody tells us, like, how do you trust? Is it that, or is it just something that you just don't feel like would be some, you're looking for something different and maybe just to come into your life from a different career, from a different, sometimes something that you can learn from that you've been doing for all your life with music and what you've been about.
Absolutely. I guess in my thought process, I want to be with a loving partner that I can look up to, and if music is my muse, why not have a partner that is within that space? If they magically appear somewhere where they
welcome
fit.
right, you're welcome it, right?
If they fit, like, the same values,
yes.
Why not? But I think that just
you don't seek it
really
where it falls within that realm of, like, I'm in a van, I'm in here, and I see, like, everybody, and
sure.
I see that guy looks pretty handsome, whatever. That doesn't mean it's going to be that you're going to be drawn into. You're just going to be
right.
like, I'm doing here to do me and do what I do best and showcase my music talent and skill, and whatever falls into, then you will foresee that, but I don't think you push it, which is good. Like, you don't
Tanya, like, attraction is for each individual, but when it comes to how I've chosen to manifest my life through my profession, that is a very, to me, self-centered way of my own personal life. Like, that has nothing to do with anyone external. That's me, the time that I put in, my spirituality, my family, it's like, that has nothing to do with, like, and that's why I think it's important to not date within the scene, because for me personally, when a manager or somebody who is beneficial to your career, I want to know that I've done it, off of my pure, like, hard work, and those are just my personal upbringing from my mom, as a single parent. Like, just knowing the validation really comes from myself, not from seeking it from someone else that is doing the same job as me. Like, they have to bring way more than just their profession. Like, it's really like what their heart is, and like, like how they treat others and their real core values.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Job, money, status, that doesn't attract my heart. That it's just whatever.
So when you're not doing anything about the lights and the music, what does Joy love to do on her spare? You seem to be very meditation, what I hear, and very into about, like, just
very
resetting
spiritual.
yourself.
What
do you do to help you and make yourself, successful in what you do and be centered? That has allowed you, that most people maybe don't know about you, like you mentioned.
Thank you. I love one-on-one conversations. This is more of my space. I get a little bit shy when I am in a big group.
Me too.
It's easy to hide behind the decks, just hide behind the music.
Or people.
Or, just like in a crowd, just running around.
Right.
Like, I don't have to talk to anyone. I'm kind of an introvert, extrovert if I have to be.
Yes.
Meditation is really important to me. Good. And it's the daily meditation that you do to take care of yourself. Like, I pride myself on, did I sleep enough? Did I eat? Did I drink water? When I'm hustling and bustling and working a very, very full schedule, I realize that the self-care that I need to do is part of my regimen that I take pride in. It's something that I love to do by learning through audiobooks. I don't listen to music.
You don't,
because I'm either like producing music and listen to drums or whatever all day, or DJing. But when I'm on my own time in my car, I listen to lots of audiobooks. I think I'm at like 115 books.
Good. I love that. Most people probably don't know that, when you're not, if Joy's not picking up, she's probably digging up to an audio that she's into. She's too busy. She's just trying to get collective, and get just kind of reset for what's to come for the week or weekend, because you are really busy.
Yeah.
You do put out a lot of your events that you're in and the venues out there. So
going back to your family, though, you mentioned that your mom was pretty strict. What does she think now?
Yeah, so my mom, she is super straight edge. Never had a drop of alcohol in her life. Like, have 2 left feet, like can't dance because
And in Las Vegas,
family-
it's like, ooh, she
yeah,
probably was
yeah.
scared for you, right?
yeah, and her family was always like, no, you should be studying, you can't go to parties. So, that's how she like taught us to be very particular. But it wasn't until they actually saw with their own eyes, what it meant for me to choose this profession. And they saw me happy, and they saw me working with my client, and they saw the venue space, and they're like, oh, okay, we understand now.
Was it
daughter, like, we support you. And
Was it a particular gig? Do you remember when that pivotal moment was?
I want to say it was like some corporate gig, and they happened to be there or something. Like, I invited them, and my mom would always come with me too. Like, when I was throwing shows here in Vegas, 18 over raves.
Yeah.
My mom would be like the door person.
Really?
Like,
That's so cool.
taking the money, and like at our parties, like she would cater, so there'd be like lao food,
Ooh,
like
that's
lao egg
awesome.
rolls, fried rice. So
Yes.
like with your ticket, you
That's
get to
cool.
eat and listen to music. It's pretty funny. She still makes food for my parties.
That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how she perceived of what she wanted for you, but still is supporting you now. And how you mentioned those prime examples. Like, I think that's
Yeah.
an awesome thing, because then she knows where my daughter, her core values are, and then she still
Yes.
takes them with her
Yeah.
wherever. It doesn't, that's just a career that
Yes.
doesn't rule you and overtake your standards or your morals. Because
Yeah.
I think that's very important for your mom. You never want to disappoint your mom. I think so. I never want
Yeah.
to disappoint my mom.
Oh, still till this day.
Right?
Yeah, she tells me what to do, and
Well,
I'm
that's
like, okay.
That's good to hear. It was a happy ending.
Yeah.
Yes.
And well, in Laos, if you are living in Laos and working at a nightclub, and I got to see that because I was the first female DJ to DJ in Laos.
Wow.
And it was such a great honor, but it was very, very sad at the same time, because I saw what my mom was telling me, that it was like pimps, prostitution, drugs, and it was apparent that, like, as a woman, like the women in the nightclubs, it was different. It wasn't like empowerment. This was like I want to say early 2010. It has completely changed since then. But when I was there, it wasn't as open to a lot of different things now. It's definitely changed so much, which
Well,
I'm
that's a
really
good thing.
happy
Yeah.
that music is a space for not only fun and healing, creativity, and all those things.
Oh, that's nice.
That's
Nice to
good.
hear. Wow.
Well, we are very glad that we had the opportunity to make sure you gave us a little insight of what Joy's all about. I think your name is in itself, like, transcends of who you are.
Exudes joy.
Exactly. I mean, and if anybody goes to her events, like, you're going to have joy, all through the night. So
you.
we want to make sure we thank you for Morris and having the time with us, because I think it's always important for us to see the side that, yes, the music's out there. Yes, your face is out there. Yes, you do this whole visual things that attract, but it's what it is about you that has a lot to do.
More about you.
Exactly.
you.
And I think it's very sincere, and there's a lot of compassion in you that I think you're on a good path, Joy. I was like,
you.
much success to you.
Thank
And
you.
we want to tell people where they can find you. I know you always post on your Instagram, obviously, but if there's anything or an upcoming event that you'd like to share, feel free. This is the outlet.
Sure. Well, thank you, ladies, again for having me. This has been so fun.
Our
And
pleasure.
I can't wait to hear more of your episodes.
Yes.
Aw,
thank you
thank
so much
you.
for that.
I'm a fan. For sure.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
People can find me at my website at www.djmissjoy.com, and that's MISS. And I have my upcoming shows, all my social media, all my mixes, and how to get a hold of me.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Lastly, any other words that you'd like to share with us before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I want to wish everyone a happy new year.
Yes.
They're celebrating the new year for a lunar new year. Happy new year.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you, Joy.
Thank
it
you
was
so
just
much.
honestly just an awesome interview with you, and we wanted to make it very casual, and you made it. Hopefully, we opened your hearts to us, but it was awesome. We hope to see you on upcoming, and we're going to be checking you out in Las Vegas for sure.
Yes.
Thank you once again for everybody, Miss Joy, Bev, and myself. We thank you for an awesome segment today, and look forward to our upcoming episodes on DJwivesLV Podcast. Thank you.
Thanks. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.